Hello, this is Jessica with On a Stack of Books and welcome to my channel. I am going to be talking about my Read With Me, Walk With Me videos that I make today. So the Read With Me, Walk With Me videos are just that, combining reading and walking, two of my favorite hobbies. And so I am walking at local parks, different areas around where I live here in Florida. And then I'm reading the first chapter or sometimes the first two chapters of a book, and then just seeing how we feel about it based on that. So recently I just posted a Read With Me, Walk With Me with this book, A Philosophy of Walking by Frederick Gross. And this one I am super excited to read. I only read a little bit so far, but I read the first two chapters in that one. But it is poignant life stories are interspersed with the author's own meditations on walking. In a way, a landscape is gradually absorbed by the long-distance rambler. They steadily build into an insistent exhortation. Get up, get out, and walk. So this book I first saw on a video recommended by Booktuber Millie with Bookish Brambles, and so I went out and got a copy of it because I definitely wanted to read it. So I did this one most recently for my Read With Me, Walk With Me. But this is a Spring TBR list that I put together, and I thought for the next video, if I got some input on books that maybe strike your fancy based on the description, you're like, yes, I would like to read that, or I would like to read the first chapter together. And so we'll just kind of see how it goes. But that was my intention here. Some of these books I am going to be reading off of the Goodreads because I picked them up in thrift stores, and that is where I found the descriptions. So let's start with Little Bee, and this is by Chris Cleave. There's not a lot about this book. It says, we don't want to tell you what happens in this book. It is a truly special story, and we don't want to spoil it. Nevertheless, you need to know enough to buy it, so we will just say this. This is the story of two women. Their lives collide one fateful day, and one of them has to make a terrible choice. The kind of choice we hope you never have to face. 2 years later, they meet again. The story starts there. Once you have read it, you'll want to tell your friends about it. When you do, please don't tell them what happens. The magic is how the story unfolds. So we have this one. And so I didn't mention it in the beginning, but these are all more to do with, I picked them out of from my bookshelf that are, more gardening, it's spring, get outside, walking, nature, nutrition, that's sort of where I'm leaning towards. So you'll see a theme with these books. This one is Louise Erdrich, the Beet Queen. On a spring morning in 1932, young Carl and Mary Adair arrive by boxcar in Argus, North Dakota, after being orphaned in a most peculiar way. They seek refuge in the butcher shop of their Aunt Fritzie and her husband Pete. Ordinary Mary, who will cause a miracle, and seductive Carl, who lacks his sister's gift for survival, embark upon an exhilarating life journey crowded with colorful, unforgettable characters and marked by the extraordinary magic of natural events. So, and then of course, I'm gonna bet that they grow beets, or somebody grows beets. And I love beets. So far, that's what we have there. This is The Bird Way, a new look at how birds talk, work, play, parent, and think. And it is The Genius of Birds, a gloriously provocative and highly entertaining book. Jennifer Ackerman provides a masterly survey of research in the last 2 decades that has produced a revolution in our understanding of bird cognition. The Genius of Birds is important not only for what it says about birds, but also about the human ingenuity entailed in unraveling the mysteries of the avian brain. It is at once a book of knowledge, but also a work of wonder and an affirmation of the astonishing complexity of our world. I've had this on my bookshelf for a very long time. I picked it up in a thrift store My oldest daughter's name means small beautiful bird, and so we have always been very partial to birds in this house. She herself has been obsessed with birds, but now that she's a little bit older, I think we have inundated her with birds, and so she's a little bit like, okay, they're fine, but she doesn't love them like she used to. But I think that's why I initially picked it up. I just tended to, gravitate towards anything that was bird, but it does sound fascinating, so seems like spring would be the time to read this. This is The Honey Farm, and I do need to consult with my Goodreads on this one because the book itself does not give a good description on it. Okay, so this is The Honey Farm. The drought has discontented the bees. Soil dries into sand, honeycomb stiffens into wax, but Cynthia knows how to breathe life back into her farm, offer it as an artist's colony with free room, board, and life experience. In exchange for back-breaking labor, Sylvia, a wide-eyed graduate and would-be poet, and Ibrahim, a painter distracted by constant inspiration, are drawn to Cynthia's offer and soon to each other. But something lies beneath the surface. The Edenic farm is plagued by events that strike Sylvia as ominous. Taps run red, scalps itch with lice, frogs swarm the pond. One by one, other residents leave. As summer tenses into autumn, Cynthia's shadowed past is revealed, and Sylvia becomes increasingly paralyzed by doubt. Building to a shocking conclusion, The Honey Farm announces the arrival of a bold new voice and offers a thrilling portrait of creation and possession in the natural world. Sounds really, really good, and I'm really excited for this one. This is The New Wilderness. I picked this one up at the same thrift store when I got The Honey Farm. And this one, let me consult Goodreads here. Bee's 5-year-old daughter Agnes is slowly wasting away. The smog and pollution of the city, an overpopulated, overbuilt metropolis where most of the population lives, is destroying her lungs. But what can Bee do? No one leaves the city anymore because there is nowhere else to go. But across the country lies the wilderness state, the last swath of open protected land left. Here, forests and desert plains are inhabited solely by wildlife. People are forbidden until now. Bee, Agnes, and 18 others volunteer to live in the wilderness state as part of a study to see if humans can coexist with nature. Can they be part of the wilderness and not destroy it? Living as nomadic hunter-gatherers, this new community wanders through the grand country, trying to adhere to the strict rules laid down by the rangers, whose job it is to remind them they must leave no trace. As the group slowly learns to live and survive on the unpredictable and often dangerous land, its members battle for power and control and betray and save each other. The farther they roam, the closer they come to their animal soul. To her dismay, Bee discovers that in fleeing to the wilderness state to save Agnes, she is losing her in a different way. Agnes is growing wilder and closer to the land, while Bee cannot shake her urban past. As she and Agnes grow further apart, the bonds between mother and daughter are tested in surprising and heartbreaking ways. Just as these modern nomads come to think of the wilderness state as home, its future is threatened when the government discovers a new use for the land. Now the migrants must choose to stay and fight for their place in the wilderness, their home, or trust the rangers and their promises of a better tomorrow elsewhere. It sounds good, and I really want to read this one. Second Nature by Michael Pollan. This is, I love Michael Pollan, and I started this probably last year. And so I, going based on memory, it is quite simply about your yard, your lawn, your front yard, your backyard. But he weaves these tales of, from his childhood and his grandfather's yard, and now his yard now. So more than 8 years ago, Harper's Edition, Michael Pollan bought an old Connecticut dairy farm. He planted a garden and adopted Thoreau's viewpoint. Do not impose your will upon the wilderness, the woodchucks, or the weeds. Here is his timely meditation and social history on man's relationship with nature and the environment. He's a very funny writer, and it's just a really cozy, homey, like, just a very enjoyable read. All of his books are like that. And so, but it's about a garden, your home garden. So it's a lovely book. I need to finish it. All right, this is Animal Vegetable Miracle by Barbara Kingslover. This is a family's story from moving from Arizona to the Appalachia area. And they decide to do a very strict 1 year only eat what they can grow, produce, make at home, to the point where if they don't grow cucumbers, they won't buy cucumbers. They will eat what they have. They will make what they have. They're canning and preserving and all of that. But so it's their story for that year, this family, and how they've decided to do it. So very cool. This is Greenhorns, and this is edited by Zoe Ida Bradbury, Severin von Scharner, and Fleming, and Paula Manalo. So this is very short snippets. It's 50 different farmers that decided to become farmers. So it's their little snapshot. It's not long, but it's their experiences, their successes, their trials and tribulations. It's very, very interesting because they're in all different areas. They grow different things. Their farms are all slightly different. So it's just very interesting, and it gives you some really concrete experiences and maybe inspiration. So this is fun because you can just kind of pick it up and read. You don't have to, which is my style of reading. I can read several sections and I put it down and I can pick up another book and read it because I'm not missing anything if I lose where I was. So these are the books. Let me know which ones, if you've read any, if you want to read any, but specifically which one you would like me to do the Read With Me, Walk With Me for the next video. So this is my spring TBR. This is what I will be reading in the next month or two, and want to share with you guys. So if you have input, I would be interested in that. But yeah, so thanks for watching, and until next time, I will be reading.